What a beautiful place. And this is the back garden for Andy from Biker of Atlantis. And I've come to have a play in his backyard. And I've got to say, what an amazing place. I wish I had this on my doorstep, I really do. So, I was watching Andy's video on rapid training and how he's an advocate for advanced riding, advanced training, which sort of a sentiment in my own heart. You know, I think it's one of the best things a rider can do is to keep learning, keep training and making ourselves better and safer riders. And if I can help him in any way and polish what he's got, then that'll be another good thing to do. Do love riding motorbikes when it's sunny. So as you can see today, I am with Andy, who's a lovely guy, Biker of Atlantis, and I've come up to his neck of the woods on this beautiful Monday. I've had to steal my lovely wife's motorcycle. Well, I say steal, she lent it me, bless her, because that's how nice she is. Because the mighty Scrambler is still not been fixed, still waiting on parts. But I thought today I'd like to tie into a video that Andy did, which was the last video of his I watched yesterday. And it's all about the rapid training that he's done, or the advanced training. And if you haven't watched that video, go and watch that video, because it really does represent why advanced training is a good thing for us motorcyclists, and how it will make us safer, better riders, that's for sure. So I said to him, I'd like to observe your riding. I'd just like to see what you've learned, where you are with it. It feels very strange being on Ailey's bike, I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit like having a monkey-sized Scrambler compared to my big 1200. But it is a beautiful bike, I've got to say. Yeah, so for me, I'll just wind off a little bit earlier. You can see it's a red light. I'll just slow it down a little bit, anticipating the fact it might change. You might have to put your foot down. Or I'm getting out into what looks like hills, bit of the hills. So we know he's quite capable, and he's thinking about islands, traffic lights and speed limits. That, and he has the added stress of me up his chopper, which you know, doesn't matter who you are, you've got somebody who's looking at how you ride, it always adds a little bit of pressure. I mean, his distance from traffic isn't bad, but he could drop back another couple of foot just to give himself a little bit more of a bubble, a bit more space. I like the way that he presented himself over to the right for that junction, so he's thinking about his position all the time and placing himself and his motorcycle in the safest place that not only gathers the most information but gives the most information. So at that point he was giving as much information to that lorry driver as he could, to say, look, I'm coming onto this junction. And that's what the thinking rider does. That's what advanced training does for you. It gives you a system that makes you think. As it stands so far, he's a good rider. He has come on a lot from the time of him passing his test to where he is now, and you can tell he's put the effort and the training in, and he's ridden all year, and he just loves motorcycles, and he just absorbs everything. Like I say, he's like a sponge. I like the way that he's thinking about his position again. He came out into position 3, far right of centre, just to get the view, and then came back into position 2 just to give himself that safety bubble. And it is, you've constantly got to be thinking all the time. The best position is the safest position to gather the most information. Strange, Derwent Valley, I like the idea of that. Swan necked out a little bit for that left hand turn. I would have wanted just to keep it tucked in. So he's got the right idea with his position, getting over to the left for his right hand bends, but at times he could hold that just a little bit better. You know, if we're going to critique that, he could just hold that line for a little bit longer, just to keep giving him the information and the view. whereas he tends to fall back into a little bit between position 1, position 2. Same there, just hold it out just a little bit further. Just get that view, then get on the gas, get the drive on. But it's there in the thought process. He's put himself in that position, but to polish what he's doing, he just needs to get the confidence to stick it out in that left hand for a little bit longer. See how he deals with this car. So looking round the bend, is he looking through the bend? Because I'd be wanting to overtake it off the bend. So yeah, he did a good job of getting past the car. Could have looked through the bend a little bit earlier, but the planning was there. And the more he does it, and the more he gets that muscle memory fitter, if you like, where it's quicker, he'll start putting those processes into place a lot quicker, which means inevitably he'll start riding a lot quicker. Or he'll keep the same pace but be safe for doing it, because at the end of the day, it's not always about going quick. It's just about being safe and enjoying your motorcycle. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful out here. It's good to see him looking through and across the bend to see what's coming up, constantly scanning for the information he needs. I got to say, as it stands at the minute, his training has paid off. He's really quite impressing me with where his skill level is for how long he's been riding, and that goes to show you what advanced training can do for any rider. But for a rider that's been riding as long as he has, do you know what? He chose the best route to go down, and that was just keep learning, keep getting better. You know, I'm over 1 million miles in the saddle and I'm still learning. There's still moments that I get it wrong. There's still moments that I'm like, yeah, I didn't gather that bit of information. We never stop learning. I truly believe the day we stop learning is the day we die. Yet again, he's scanning the bend, he's looking through it, gathering the information, gets the drive on to get up the hill. Beautiful. How's he going to deal with this car? Is he going to get frustrated? Is he going to keep getting too close, or is he going to hold his space until he gets the information to get past it, if he can? I think sometimes we have to remember that cars can also travel at a speed that makes it far too dangerous on roads like these for us to overtake, especially if they know the roads. So far he's dealing really well with this car. He's keeping a good gap between him and the vehicle in front. So now the frustration you can see is just starting to kick in a little bit. He knows he wants to get past this car. And in those moments, it's just a case of winding your neck in a little bit, back off a little bit, regroup yourself, because the opportunity will arise. The trouble is, when you start to get frustrated, you start to get closer and closer to that vehicle and shutting your information off. But that's also what I love about these kinds of roads, because they are so technical. It really does sort of push the boundaries of your capabilities and the way that you plan your ride. Look at that view. I mean, views like that don't help, because you just get lost in the view. Yes. Thought about it, he planned it, he executed it. Lovely. Yeah, come across to the view. At the end of the day, use every bit of road you can if it's safe to do so. And that's what he's doing. At times he holds that left hand side really nice to gather that information, and on other occasions he just needs to polish that a little bit. Just dedicate yourself to that position to gather that information. You know, now I'd be coming right out, get the view for this bend. Like
like I say, it's all your road. You use as much of it as you want, as long as it's safe to do so. Yeah, yet again, there's just those on occasion where he could utilise his space a little bit better over to the right to get the view through those bends. Now Andy, already I know, is the sort of rider that, do you know what, I could ride with him anywhere, all day, every day, and not have to worry about where he is, what he's doing. I'm not a big one for big group riding. It scares the hell out of me because there's such a difference between the level of riding. But already I can tell that, do you know what, when I like to, if I come across a rider, and even in my working life out on the road, I come across a rider, I would follow him for a good 10-15 minutes. If I'm thinking, could I actually have a play with this rider, you know, could we have a bit of fun down the twisties? And you get to know very quickly whether it's a rider you want to ride with or a rider you just want to lose and have nothing to do with. And Andy definitely falls into that category. Do you know what? I could ride with him all day long and know that confidently I could have fun. Whoa, I think we're going to stop here. Get a cuppa. We'll have a chat. I'll give him a shit sandwich, which to be fair isn't much of a shit sandwich, because he is a good rider. And that's what all this training and these advanced courses that he's been on to give him a system for riding, that's what it's done for him. For somebody that's only been motorcycling for as long as he has, do you know what? He's a bloody good rider.
So I've had the pleasure today of coming to meet Andy, who's a lovely guy, biker of Atlantis, who's brought me to his back garden. Oh my God, the roads are just amazing. I'm not jealous at all. It's like, it's just beautiful. So this video for me all came about, I watched Andy's last video, and you definitely need to go and watch that one on his rapid training, and a video where he talks about the training he's done with rapid. And that sort of resonates with me because I'm a big advocate for advanced training and riders that can just make their riding safer and better. And the best way to do it is to get extra training, and that's what Andy's done. And that video really did showcase how that training saved him from a certain incident that happened while he was out on the training course. Yeah, so when we came to the roundabouts, traffic lights, straight away I could tell you're a thinking rider. Mm-hmm. And from where you've come out, how long ago was it you passed your test?
It's a year and a half about.
Yeah, I wouldn't, if I didn't know that, for me I would say you've been riding a long time.
Oh, thank you, I'll take that one, Lee, thank you.
Because you can see that you are a thinking rider. Okay. I mean, after meeting you, I can already tell you're like a sponge. You just want to keep absorbing it.
I'm obsessed with bikes.
Yeah, you're obsessed with bikes.
Yeah.
And by doing that extra training really has paid off for you.
Yeah.
You're constantly scanning. You're constantly trying to make things work for you better. Islands was really well planned. There was an island we came up to. You straight lined it, and then there was a car, and you was like, well, I can still straight line it and come in. And you did all the checks, all the observations, real observations we've done before. I like that. Mm-hmm. I liked the way you would present yourself at junctions. You're coming over to that position 3 and you're making yourself aware, because for me it's not only about gathering the information, it's about giving it.
Yeah.
And you were giving it to that lorry. I don't know if you remember, we came into a junction and you came right out into 3 and there was a lorry sat there. Yeah, that lorry's sitting high up and he can see you, but what you did was you gave him information to say, I'm here, I'm vulnerable, don't come near me. Yeah. And that's a thinking rider. That's something that not all riders do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what advanced training gives you, is that sense of not only gathering information but giving it. We did come to the one traffic light.
Oh, we weren't going to mention that later.
yeah. We're all human. We're all human. And the way I saw it, the mistake was you were gathering information for the next hazard, not the one that was presenting us.
Yeah.
But you redeemed yourself because you stopped.
Mm. And then I quietly backed up.
yeah, you did, yeah. But you stopped.
Yeah.
There's so many people that wouldn't have, and unfortunately cars jump on orange.
Yes.
And before you know it, you put yourself in a situation, especially when you're turning right. When you're going straight on, you might have you can give it a bit of gas and get out of the way, but at that point you would have been tipped over.
Yeah.
And you would have been putting yourself at more risk. So I like the fact that you backed off. We come out into the twisties, and it was beautiful.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
I was saying to myself, I'm finding it hard to not criticise, but critique what you was doing, because you were scanning for information, you were looking for the overtake, but you weren't getting sucked in. You were keeping that distance, you were keeping patient and waiting for your time, so that was nice. If I was to try and polish it in any way on your right-handers, try and stay out left a little bit longer.
That's a work in progress.
And it is,
Yeah.
it really is. It's a confidence thing.
I do know about it, yeah.
It's a confidence thing. It's so easy to say, get into the left, but it feels alien to do it and to stay there in the gutter as such. If it's safe to do so. As you know, you prioritise your hazards, so if there's crap and there's shit, you don't want to be in the left. But at the times when you can stay there, there was times where you were in the left, you got the idea, but then all of a sudden you'd start to drift back in before you'd actually got the view.
Yes.
And you would have opened it up a lot sooner for yourself if you'd have just stayed out a bit longer.
I feel like with that, I've just got to like tell myself something slightly different to how I think to stay in. Do you know what I mean? Like put it in my own words. I know I've got to do it, but I'll drift across. I've always felt a lot more comfortable coming in on left-handers, which is crazy. Everybody that I've been with, more experienced, that said, oh, it's your right-handers. But for some reason, you know, that car coming towards me at the same speed as me don't bother me as much as drifting left into sides.
Into the side of the road. And it is alien for all of us.
We're edging across bit by bit. That is definitely a thing.
Yeah. But that is just polishing.
Yeah.
The thing is, the better you get, right, and a wise old man once told me this, the better you get to the top of the mountain, and it gets harder and it gets harder to get to that point. But once you're there, it seems so easy. But getting there is the hard bit.
Yeah.
So it's not so much criticism, it's just polishing what you got.
Yeah.
Because what you've got is a thinking rider. And I sat behind you and I was saying I could follow you all day.
Oh,
and I don't like group riding because the majority of them are idiots and I can't gel with them.
Okay.
But you were a rider that I could tell was thinking. You're scanning across the corners, you know. The same with some of your left-handers. The road is yours, all of it. So you got to get that mindset of using it. So there was a left-hander where there was a car coming in the distance, but it was a nice sweeper and it went up. And you took it in position 3, but you could have took it in position 5 for his offsiding.
Yeah.
It's the other side of the road that's not yours, but it is yours because it's free to do so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just polishing, just giving yourself the best position to find the information that's the safest place to be.
Yeah, and I think, you know, so that example is, I know that I can go over, but I'm not experienced enough to go, well, I can go over, there's a car, but I'll be out of his way before I go. I just go, well, I could go over, but there's a car coming, so I'll stay in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's that extra bit, isn't it, where it's like, well, I've got time to get back in, I can have my view. You know, so
and you'll gather more information by doing it.
Yeah.
For me, what today showcased, and going back to your rapid video, is you're the perfect example of why people should do advanced training. The length of time you've been riding, you could outride a lot of people I know that have been riding years.
Thank you.
And I don't mean outriding as in speed, as in flat out. Where that's not for me outriding. Outriding is in the planning and the execution of things. Same with your overtakes. They were planned. There was the one car, the white one. You did start to get a little bit frustrated. You could see you wanted to get past him, and then I could also see in your mind thinking, I probably could have done it, but I want to keep Lee behind me. And so you're thinking for other riders.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, so you're a thinking rider, and that's a good thing. I think just keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thanks, man.
And polish what you got. That's all. Or the only critique I can give you. There's nothing I can pick up and say this is something that really needs adjusting. Just need to polish it, and
That's
just keep practicing it.
I think that's really interesting because obviously, you know, when you go and do your training, you work with your trainers and your coach and everything else, but to get independent, like look at what I'm doing, and for you to say that, I think that's brilliant. But it's like you say, that training, it's invaluable, and I was lucky enough to do it early on, where I know I'm not perfect. I practice all the time. I've got to get the experience. I've got to get all those miles and everything under my belt, but at least I'm practicing what is seen as a safer way to ride, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so it's I think hopefully that'll keep me out of trouble.
Ironically, I was the person that was against it.
What against what training?
Pipe and slipper brigade. That's what I said.
Is that right?
And at the time, I mean, I'm going back a fair few years now to when I did mine, but originally my wife used to scare the life out of me. Her overtakes, I used to shut my eyes because they were scary. And somebody said to me she needs to go and do her advanced, and I was happy to shoo her along, you know.
But you didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but a month later I couldn't gel with her, I couldn't ride with her.
Really?
She was out riding me, and I was putting myself in these situations, especially in the wet, where I'm like, well, maybe I'll go then. You know, maybe I can learn something. Maybe I should not have this macho thing where I go, I don't need that. I've been riding for years.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I went and did it, and it was the best thing that I ever did. It really is. And it to be fair, it's probably kept me alive, especially in my career, with the amount of road mileage that I did. And believe me, I've had accidents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I hope you never do. And there's people that can ride all their lives and never, but there's always that what if.
Yeah.
And what I think that training does, it just puts you in a better place to deal with it.
Yeah, that's really good to know. Especially, like I said, with your experience, that's coming from. That's not just it might do. It's like, how many miles have you done?
I've done over 1 million now. I did over 1 million for Triumph, so I'm well on the way to a few more than that. But
I've done about 300.
Yeah, but like I say,
not million, 300. Like
that training is
300.
what's made the difference to you as a rider.
Yeah.
It really has. And when I started watching your channel, I think what drew me to the fact was you were a middle-aged man that had come to motorcycles late in life, and I liked following your journey. You know, and everybody's got an opinion, but you've absorbed everything, and you've took on board everybody's comments. And if it's worked, you've adapted to it. If it hasn't, you've done what the rest of us do, you short side. But then you've gone and took professional training. And do you know what? For me, I think the one thing that the British licence system needs is we scrap these 2 licence tests. Everybody does an A2, no matter what. If you want to unlock that licence, you have to do your advanced.
Yeah.
And I think that would give us safer riders. Like I say, this video title is Motorcycles Are Dangerous. And you know what? Motorcycles aren't dangerous, people are dangerous. And I think if you can put yourself in the mindset and go and get the training and become a better, safer rider, then the people that will benefit is your loved ones.
Bloody beautiful. Oh, there we go. A little bit of offside and you got it. Beautiful. I love it when I just, from a comment that I make, just on a little bit of encouragement, and straight away I'm following him now, and the little bits of critique I did give him, you can see he's working to polish it. But yet again, that's a thinking rider. I've had an amazing day with Andy. He's a lovely guy, and it's been a pleasure riding with him. I'm very finicky on who I ride with. But you know what? I'd ride anywhere with this man. He's infectious in the sense of the love he has and the passion he has for motorcycles. And like I say, he makes the best ambassador for advanced training, because he is showcasing how much it can do for not only new riders, all riders. A bit of offside and nice. So smooth. See how that just a little bit of offside in just took all the tightness out of that turn. But it was safe to do so. You check all the way up the hill, all the way up the road, nothing coming. It's safe to do so. Use all the road. I love it when I give it a little bit of feedback and somebody like Andy takes it on board and they start adding it into the ride when it wasn't there before. And that's what I mean about polishing it and just starting to finesse what you've got, what you've been taught. Nice. Well planned. I can come with you. Nice. it. Stay on the out, stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out. Nice. Now you're flowing.
Well, Andy, thank you very much for today. Do you know what? You've got some amazing roads on your doorstep. I've had a cracking day. It's been fun. It really pleases me is the critique I gave you earlier. You started implementing it. Some of the off-siding we did today was just sublime. Give me goosebumps on the back of my neck. And that for me is my buzz when I see that something I've said to somebody, they take it on board and they adapt it and they add it into their ride. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, you're a cracking rider. The training really has paid off. The system that you've learned and the way you're riding, you're just going to keep going up and up and up. And just remember, it's very pointy at the top of that mountain of success.
Oh, Lee, I'm not going to get my helmet on. Thanks, mate.
No,
Always
thank
a pleasure.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.